Screen share would be good. Where is that? Okay, seriously, where is that? Oh, there it is. All right, you guys see that okay? Everybody's muted. Hopefully you can see that.
Yep, it's good. Looks good.
Thank you. All right, okay. Thank you for joining us in our healthy nutrition, creating lifestyle habits for a healthy weight. Sarah and I are gonna just take turns going back and forth, and we're gonna start by sharing our story. But before we do that, I wanna just take a moment to really look at the importance of why does a healthy weight matter? I want us to think outside the box of, you know, looking good or wearing a swimsuit, that swimsuit that you want, or being a certain size. And I want instead really to change your perspective to think about some of the non-physical reasons why our healthy weight matters. And the reason this is important is because it really aids in our motivation. And a lot of times motivation can be really difficult. So this is just a few statistics that could reduce your risk of heart disease by 24%, stroke by 33%, cancer by 14%, and premature death by 31%. That would aid an extra 3.4 years of a disease-free life to your lifespan. And how do you reduce your risk? It's actually by increasing your vegetables and fruits, which we all know are really important when it comes to a healthy weight. But we're going to kind of step outside the box of eat carrots, eat cucumbers, and give you some practical tips on how we do that, as well as some other things. But I love this image here on the right-hand side too, because when you lose fat, a lot of things are changing in your body. Your metabolism, your risk for diabetes, polycystic ovarian syndrome, stress, joints, migraines, asthma, the list goes on and on and on. So as you lose weight, it's important to remember that a lot of other things will improve in your health. And Sarah's going to go ahead and kind of share a little bit about her story, and then I will share mine.
Yes, so I am there on the right, and I think the two pictures there, the first one I was probably about like 25, 26 years old, and then the last one was just a few weeks ago. So I was an athlete my entire life, you know, someone who would work out during high school, and then I went to college, and I've just been lucky that my lifestyle, I mean, if you look at that picture, like I was never overweight, but I was definitely not healthy, and my weight definitely went outside of that healthy weight zone. And you know, I was someone who would survive on Diet Coke and energy drinks and food from restaurants and bar food, and just not like giving myself like the right kind of nutrients that I needed. And so I would be tired and I would be sluggish and I would not be sleeping right. But all things that are normal, right? A 25-year-old girl is supposed to be out having the time of her life, and that's just the pattern that you're used to. Fast forward now today, I have just learned so much, and Katie and I are going to dig into this a lot, about how food is really fuel for your body and how important it is to put like the right food into your body. So even like 8 years ago, I started marathon training, and I was still just always learning across the way of the process of like what do I need to go into my body? What gaps do I need to fill, that even when I am trying to do even when I'm doing what we'll touch on later about clean eating, like even still some things that you need to eat, and just trying to find, we're going to dive into how Katie was talking about eating carrots and how much fruits and vegetables, like how much you really need them, and how we don't get a lot of fruits and vegetables, and how it's hard to get them all in like every day. So I was just someone that was living my life and doing what I thought was right, you know, fitting in a salad here and there, and hitting the gym every couple of months, maybe getting into a slight routine, but it was never sticking and never lasting. And then probably over the last 8 years, everything just continues to improve. And I just continue to make small changes that just have built now to where I'm at today.
I love that, Sarah. And that's really what we want to share with you tonight is lifestyle habits that you can develop and start as soon as possible that can carry you on because they're achievable and they're habits that you can not just do for 1 week or 1 month, but really long term. So my story, just very briefly going to share, after I had my son, who was my second child, I really just struggled to lose the baby weight, even though he was starting to be like 2 years old and 3 years old. Yeah, toddler weight, right? And I just was one of those women who, unfortunately, that baby weight I felt like was just going to be permanent. And I really wrestled with feeling like I was doing everything right. I was eating what I thought was a clean diet. I was exercising, and I just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And so really what I have learned in my journey is to look at that healthy weight is more than just nutrition. Healthy weight is looking at your stress level. Healthy weight is looking at your sleep, and are you getting consistent sleep? In fact, I know some trainers that won't even work with clients unless they are dedicated and committed to getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. And honestly, with little kids at home, I wasn't getting good sleep. And what happens when we sacrifice that sleep is our body will crave the sugar, will crave the carbs. And until I dedicated myself to getting to bed at a reasonable time, and I know that can be hard at times, I really notice that my cravings went down, but my energy also improved. I also was struggling with adrenal fatigue, which I'll talk about briefly, but your adrenals can play a big role in your weight. I had some crazy hormonal stuff happening with having, 2 kids in a few years, and hormones and all of that can affect a lot in your weight. And then also I was eating foods that was causing inflammation in my body. And so hopefully we'll spend a few minutes perhaps identifying what certain foods are and how certain foods can either be fuel for your body or they can cause inflammation. And if you are eating foods on a consistent basis that are causing inflammation, your body will hold on to that fat and it won't release it. And then lastly, I had toxic buildup. I had never in my life gone through a cleanse of any sort. And I knew that my body needed to release toxins from being on antibiotics as a child, a lot of antibiotics, as well as our food and just how much our food has changed over the last few years. So I want to start by just asking you, how is your sleep, your stress? How is your hormones, your nutrition, your movement, and your water? And when you look at your weight, so many people just think about the food they eat. And so I really want to encourage you to think of your weight as like a pie or a pizza and how each slice can impact your weight. So the sleep thing, the stress thing, here's another example. If you're frequently stressed throughout the day, your cortisol is constantly rising, and then your cravings increase, and your body will actually signal to you, especially around your belly. They go into fight or flight. So it'll signal to your body, hold on to that fat. So we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight. I think you're on mute still, Sarah.
I am. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure there's no background noise. So so some of the things that we're really going to talk about is, as we've learned in our own journeys, is just having the mindset and the motivation and being able to tell ourselves every day that we can do this, that our bodies deserve this, that our families deserve this, and making sure that we can say that we can do this and motivating ourselves. Katie and I motivate each other every day to do things, and, finding other different people, finding different people that can help keep you accountable. Commit to taking care of yourself. Maybe it's something like a workout. So maybe you're scheduling it in your calendar, booking a class at your gym or wherever you're going to make yourself accountable to do that. You are so important, and we need to take care of ourselves first before we try to take care of other people. And using food as fuel, this is something that I have just been continuing to learn about, is making sure that you are using the right food. It's to fuel our body, to make sure that we can do the things we want to do. and then making promises to yourself, like going to the gym, or maybe I'm going to drink more water. That is something that I continue to struggle with all the time. So I'm trying to carry water around with me and promise that I'm going to finish this bottle before I go to lunch or before I take the next call at work. And just doing all of these things here can really help lead you to your healthy weight.
Yeah, and I think when it comes down to it, you have to believe that this is possible. And I can remember telling my sister, Lauren, before, like, it's just, I'm not going to lose the weight. Like, I felt so like I had tried everything. And I remember she told me, you need to just stop stressing out about it. And you need to stop thinking about it. And truthfully, when I let it go, when I just stopped obsessing over the scale, then it was almost like I could release that, and then the weight started slowly coming off. And I think for some of you, I encourage you to really think about your commitment level and really think about, do you take care of yourself? I think so often we think it's selfish to take care of ourselves. But one thing I commit to several days a week is going to the gym. No ifs, ands, or buts. I get there. I have to sign into my app early in the morning. I set my workout outfit out the night before, and I make a commitment. And when I make that commitment, I hold on to that promise. So when I wake up and I don't feel like it, I still do it because I made a promise to myself. And so as you start your weight loss journey, we would love for you to think about how to track your progress outside of the scale. And many of you probably have heard this before, but the scale is how so many people look at their weight loss. And I'm going to be honest, when I started really toning or really looking at my diet with some things that I'll share in a few minutes, and working out more and just making some changes, honestly, the scale didn't move for me for quite a while. But I kept at it, and I had faith that eventually my body will change. And sure enough, it did. And the reason you don't want to go by the scale is because a lot of times you'll gain muscle, and that muscle will impact the scale, and then you'll feel discouraged, and then you'll want to give up and not continue on your health journey. I think for me, I never really committed long-term to my health journey. And until I did, longer than like 1 week or 2 weeks, then again, it was difficult to lose weight.
No, I love you touching on that, Katie, because it's so true. There's so many times where I have felt so good, like you put on a pair of jeans and you feel amazing, and then you go to step on the scale and you see it didn't budge, and you can't let that bother you because you have to focus on those non-scale victories. I love following up on those. So here we just have a quick slide, and I won't dive into this too much, but just the Shaklee difference. So here at Shaklee, there are so many different tests. We really focus on the purity of the ingredients, testing the products when they come in, making sure the potency is very important, that what you're actually getting from Shaklee, whatever the product is, that it's actually working and being absorbed into your body correctly, and not just pieces of it, but all of it, so that you are better absorption, better results for the performance line. We've got 121, I think that's even updated now, medals of athletes that have won in the Olympics, just a lot of different, over 100,000 quality tests for purity and potency in every product. So I think that this slide really just tells me so much about the company and like their dedication to making sure that you are getting quality products and getting what you want when you want it.
So let's talk about how much our food has changed. 9 out of 10 Americans fall short of essential nutrients in their diet. And this is so interesting, Michael Pollan. The way we eat has changed more in the last 50 years than in the previous 10,000. And so I want to encourage you that there is hope, and there's hope in trying to find the right foods that work in tune with your body, and also being very conscious of what you put in your body, because our food has changed so much.
Yeah, and just so many people are eating just a lot of calories and not getting the right nutrition that they need. A lot of our food today has sugar and it's processed, like your fast foods. And so while you may be getting the amount of calories that your body needs, you're really falling short on all of the different vitamins and nutrients that your body is requiring in order to work and function. And then this, with all that extra sugar, this is a huge thing that can add to your weight gain and not having enough energy.
And addictions are real. In fact, there's a book, Grain Brain, and it talks about how the area in your brain where people get addicted to opiates is the same area in our brain where we get addicted to carbs, sugary, snacky sweets. And so recognizing that and identifying that is really important. And there are a few things that Sarah and I do on a regular basis to help with those cravings that we'll share here in a few minutes. And then studies show that people with healthy dietary patterns, including, again, the whole grains, the fruits, the vegetables, have a lower risk of developing chronic conditions. So again, going back to that first slide, our weight is so much more than fitting into that size, whatever it is that you want, or that swimsuit. Our weight is about how we feel and about our heart health and about our joint health and all those areas of our life.
Yeah, so just focusing on building a healthier eating style. So here are some tips that you can use. Remember that everything that you eat and you drink matters. And that the changes that you make today will help change your future patterns. I've noticed that just sometimes not focusing on doing an entire big change all at once, but just one little small changes. Like first, maybe you're going to cut out that dessert that you normally have, and then maybe you're going to add an extra vegetable to your lunch. All of these different things. And healthy eating has a huge variety. There's so much that you can focus on with the variety of food, the amount of food, and really focusing on the nutritional value of your food and what you're getting. So you're going to want to choose foods that have less saturated fat, sodium, and again, here, avoiding all those added sugars.
So looking at a healthy meal, a lot of people go by the 80-20% rule, which is 80% where you fill your plate with lots of fresh vegetables, like a plant-based diet. And I think no matter what, whether you're paleo or there's so many different diets out there, I think the common theme, although I guess keto, not always this, but I think the common theme throughout is you can never go wrong with lots and lots of plants and vegetables, seeds and nuts. And so a lot of times when I fill my plate, I'm very conscious to make sure that I'm always incorporating a good amount of vegetables, lean protein, and then a healthy source of whole grain, whether that's quinoa or rice or different things like that. We'll go into a little bit more here.
Yeah, and again, just these small changes, like how they all do. So try to find what you like. Find with these healthy foods things that you enjoy, and then you can try to focus on this clean eating. And we're going to dive into the clean eating in a second. But I think one habit for me that I'm going to talk about later too is just I cook so many meals at home that we only go out maybe like once or twice a month. And this is where I can have fun with like a lot of different healthier ingredients. Sometimes it's just Googling something, a new vegetable I found at the store or the farmer's market, and finding a lot of different recipes. And physical activity into your day, I think, something as little as 20 to 30 minutes of movement, walking around the block, folding laundry, doing laundry and moving from room to room in your house. There are so many different videos now that are on like free workout videos on YouTube. You can just stream and use at your home. But just some sort of physical activity, getting that little 20 to 30 minutes is just going to help. It's going to increase your heart rate. It's going to get your blood flowing and just kind of help you want to make healthier choices. I find, I don't know if you find it too, Katie, that when I am more physical and working out, that I'm not always craving then those sugary foods when I have those workouts during the day.
Definitely. So these are just a few tips that I was trying to summarize as best as possible, tips for your success. The first thing, no matter where you're starting, is it's very important to identify inflammatory foods that you might be sensitive to. Every single person is built differently. Some people might be able to tolerate gluten. For me, I started recognizing when I would have a sandwich or when I would have pizza, I was getting really bloated and I felt really tired after. So I thought, maybe I have a gluten sensitivity. Why don't I try cutting it out and seeing how I feel? And I felt so much better. And not only that, but I was replacing all of those breads, that I was previously having with lots more vegetables. But like I said, everybody's different. So I will tell you that the majority of people tend to be sensitive to dairy. Some people are sensitive to dairy, gluten, and then refined sugar, obviously. That's another top one. And so you can see your doctor or a chiropractor and they can test you for food sensitivities, but I would start there. And again, it's investing in your health, because you could be eating something every single day that you think are healthy, but if you're sensitive to it, your body will keep being really inflamed to that. So pay attention to how you feel. How do you feel after you eat certain foods? Do you feel good? Or are you tired, bloated, maybe gassy? When I cut out, for example, dairy, I'm sensitive to dairy too, unfortunately. But dairy makes my throat feel mucousy. I get TMI, but gassy and bloated. So again, my body had trouble digesting dairy. One little thing I wanted to mention, I got this actually, this is a great cookbook. It's called Against All Grain, and it's for people that are gluten-free, dairy-free. Again, I'm not saying that everybody needs to be gluten-free or dairy-free, but it might be something worth looking into because it did play a role in my health. And then asking yourself, is this man-made or is this God-made? Really, when you're in the grocery store, did God make this or did man make this? And if God made it, most likely your body's going to handle it for the most part. It should handle it pretty well. God made avocados. Most people do pretty well with avocados. Man-made potato chips. Most people don't do well with potato chips. And then here's another thing. You might be hearing this and thinking, oh, I know I need to eat more vegetables, but I don't like vegetables. Well, I read a book recently that talked about our taste buds will adapt and change. So my sister will sometimes make fun of me because she'll be like, why don't you want that cookie in front of you? And don't get me wrong, I still have a sweet tooth from time to time, but my taste buds have changed as I've made changes. And I've had to kind of grit and bear it initially, but now I've come to really enjoy big salads, and I've come to really enjoy green smoothies, and I've come to really enjoy lots of other things. Become a label detective. Read what you are putting in your body and identifying the sugars and different things. We won't get into too much detail about that, but aim for grass-fed protein. This is really important, especially nowadays with our protein source. You want to make sure it's grass-fed because that grass, again, God-made versus man-made, God-made grass. And that grass-fed protein will actually give you more omegas, which will, again, help fight that inflammation. But for me, one of the things I've been trying to do more of is try and find more lean proteins. So looking for more turkey or fish or chicken over steak or ribs or some of those red meats that can cause more inflammation. Invest in the right tools. I use an Instant Pot, and that's how I make hard-boiled eggs, sweet potatoes really quickly, chicken really quickly. It is worth that $50, $60 that it costs to help with the ease and convenience of meal prepping. And then, like Sarah said, find fresh and local ingredients. Nothing beats a local farmer's market that has tomatoes and veggies and cucumbers and eggs. It will taste so much different than what you find at the store.
Someone did add on the chat about Danielle Walker's books. Meals Made Simple is their favorite. So I think that,
oh, nice.
I know, I'm like, I'm going to have to look at that book. Okay, so what is clean eating? So clean eating focuses on eating whole, unprocessed foods. And these are the foods that can be adapted to fit in any different type of your lifestyle. Like Katie had mentioned, if you're, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, gluten-free, dairy-free, these are some of the great things that can fit in all of anyone's kind of diet, whatever they have. So you're going to want to choose whole, natural foods. You're going to want to eliminate everything that's processed. Choose your whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, and Katie mentioned before, again, go back to the filling at least half your plate with fresh veggies, and then add your carbs. You try different cooking techniques, steam, bake, grill, and eat some stuff raw. There's a great book called Eating on the Wild Side. And it was an excellent book. It goes through pretty much almost any kind of fruit or vegetable that you'd be looking to buy at the store. And it tells you like how it's just changed over the years. which ones to like look out for. Like there's apples, but there's how many different types of apples, and it'll tell you like which ones have the most nutrients and different things like how to get the most nutrients out of your food. Like carrots, this is crazy, but carrots, it's better to cook the carrots and then cut them as opposed to cut them before you cook them, because there's just a lot of different nutrients in these different foods. So that is a great resource for anyone who wants to look into more about what you're supposed to be choosing. But here's just, I'm sure you guys have heard before when you're at the grocery store, shop the perimeter. You know, you usually walk in and most grocery stores will have your fresh produce right there. Then you'd go to like your meat department, you know, then you're going to have some dairy, and then you're going to circle around. So it's just shopping that perimeter is going to get you all of these different things, fresh veggies, healthy carbs. Carbs are not the devil to everyone. You know, some of us need carbs. So it's just focusing on whole grain, and not worrying about different things. Protein, yogurt, chicken, eggs. Protein is so important. So these are some of the things as we talk about clean eating, what you're going to be looking for.
So adding in those fruits and vegetables are really important, and aiming for 7 servings per day. And we're going to give you one simple tip of how we start our day with 3 to 5, which is pretty awesome. So as far as meal prep goes, Sarah can share on this too, but we've really come to meal prep, and I will tell you, this is really key. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I don't know if I have time for that. I will tell you that the 1 to 2 hours that you invest on a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday night or a Monday morning will save you time during the week. So having food that's easy and quick to grab is so important. As soon as you go hungry, if you're like me, you grab anything that you want to eat because you're hungry. The chips and salsa, the whatever it is. But when I have foods that are ready to grab and that are cut up, especially those vegetables, it takes that convenience to another level. Plus, most likely you'll get your kids too to eat what you have ready to go as well. And so egg muffins, we do a lot of egg muffins. You can make chicken ahead of time for the whole week. People even prep their salads and their smoothies ahead of time. But really this will set you up for success. If you want to lose weight and if you're committed to losing weight, you have to have a game plan. And so learning to meal prep, but also planning out your workouts. You know, you'll always see me with a ton of water bottles because I know that I have to have water on me at all times. Thinking ahead. I was on vacation last week and I brought food to the beach because I didn't want to, you know, just cave to the burgers and fries, even though that sounded yummy. But I wanted to fuel my body with the best food possible, and I had to plan ahead. And that really helps with your cravings as well.
So with that, with Katie talking about meal prepping and planning ahead, I work a full-time job. So, and I think everyone is like pressed for time sometimes with dinner and planning dinner for families and things like that. So I am someone who tries to find, Katie talked about cooking chicken ahead. I love cooking a chicken in my Instant Pot or even my crock pot and having shredded chicken ready to go, because how many different meals do we have that we can throw shredded chicken in and make it really easy? And I also make sure that when I know I have events going on at night or different things, that I'm making sure that I have got like a stack of like 30-minute meals, quick and easy to go meals that are just always ready to go at a moment's notice.
Hard-boiled eggs are another really easy one. That's something I digest pretty well. And my kids love them. So I always try and have hard-boiled eggs on hand as well. But make sure to get enough calcium, especially if you are dairy-free. This is really important, especially women. As we age, that calcium is really important for bone health. And then protein, obviously aiming for protein. And this is huge because a lot of people don't get enough protein in their diet. And look for plant protein, beans, lentils, soy food such as tofu, and then obviously the fish, the lean red meat, the eggs, the nuts. There's lots of different ways of incorporating protein.
And you want to add your healthy fats. This is a great opportunity when you're cooking. You're going to want to use some different, I use olive oil with a lot of things. I saute a lot of things in olive oil because so many people, as you can see here, your diets are lacking those omega-3s and your fatty acids, which are so essential, especially for like brain health. So you're going to want to try to, to get these important fats. There's different plant options like flaxseed oil, avocado oil. Avocados are great. Chia seeds, walnuts, you can see here. And then you're also going to want to see for your EPA and your DHA, you're going to want to consume fish, but you're also going to want to make sure that you're finding like organic, wild caught fish because our oceans are so polluted now, and our fish, you're going to want to make sure that you're getting quality fish, or another option is to make sure you're choosing a clean supplement that has fish oil. I know our omegas, it's a triple distillation. Is that right, Katie? The triple distillation process to make sure that the oil that they're getting from the fish is pure and clean so that you're consuming that with your fat to have some of your healthy fats and your fatty oils.
And fat will help you stay satisfied too. So don't be afraid of fat. And like, for example, when I have a salad, I will add a half of an avocado and then even olive oil to my salad as well. And so getting those healthy fats are really important. So these are just looking at ways of substituting some of our food. But the next thing I want to talk about is, so there's 3 steps that I encourage you with that we're going to briefly talk about tonight. Is the first step is the importance of detoxing. No matter where you are, most people need to start by detoxing. If you have migraines or sugar cravings or lower on energy or bloating, caffeine addiction, then the first step that we encourage anybody in their journey is to detoxify. And so Sarah and I both are firm believers in this Healthy Cleanse Kit, and this helped me to lose weight as well. It is only 7 days, and it all works in balance to really help detoxify your body and help support digestion, energy, sleep. I could not believe the energy I had when I was on the cleanse. I remember just going all over my house cleaning because I just had so much energy. But this is really important, especially because I don't think I have the image here, but when we hold on to toxins, our body will hold on to that. And some of you just have a toxic buildup, and you need to jumpstart your metabolism by starting to detoxify. And so whoever invited you, there's several ways of doing a detox program with Shaklee, and they can share more about that.
Yeah, so another one is you're going to want to get leaner. So after you start to get rid of the toxins, you're going to want to start to build your muscle mass. And when people are working out, and I love this image down here, but when you are someone who's going on a typical diet, your body is going to lose fat and your muscle. And you don't want to be losing that muscle, because by increasing your muscle mass, you're going to be increasing your metabolism. You're going to be able to be maintained, maintain like your hunger status and everything. So with the Shaklee 180 program, you are going to be it's powered by leucine, which is an amino acid that's going to help you burn the fat, not your muscle, so you're not losing that, to achieve your healthier weight. This whole 180 program is just filled with all your amino acids. It's got your protein, but it's really helping your body lose the weight, the fat, the weight we don't want, and keep this muscle mass that you're going to need. So this is a great program for people that, especially after you detox your body, getting rid of all those toxins, now you're getting back to the system to rebuild your body and get back on the path of starting your healthier lifestyle. And these are just some more of you can go ahead, Katie.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was thinking these are just some more of the products. Katie and I both start our days with the Life Shake. We've got this metabolic boost, which is, I find for me, when I am trying to go onto that healthy weight, when I add that to a clean eating diet, that's when I'm really starting to see some great results. We've got these snack bars. Katie, I'm sure you packed the snack bars on your trip. I'm sure there were snack bars with you. We have snack bars and meal bars with us at all times, just because they are so great, especially when you want to just grab that bar and like run out the door. Having something that's filled with the right amount of protein that your body is going to need, and they taste delicious. Energizing tea, snack chips. I mean, that energizing tea, I don't think I could survive a day without it. Because, as I do drink a lot of water, I do sometimes want something that's not water.
Yeah.
And the teas are just great because they give you that boost of energy. They're not loaded with sugars like you could go pick up at the convenience store. So these are all some great products that go with that as well.
Yeah, and the 3 to 5 p.m. is kind of harder for me craving wise, and I find having like a coconut, the coconut snack bar, chocolate coconut snack bars, are really satisfying, and it really helps a lot in helping me not grab a cookie. But here's the other thing: these are convenient because we all aren't always home, and you need healthy options. The other thing that's really important that I want to mention is that you need to be careful about your smoothies. And what I mean by that is, before I started on my, healthy weight journey, I was adding in a lot of fruit. I was adding in a whole banana. I was adding in a lot of strawberries. And fruit is good, but you want to be careful how much fruit, because some fruit is higher glycemic, so it can spike your blood sugar. And so one of the things I've been aiming to do more of when I start my day is add in more greens. So I add in, you see that image on the left, I add in spinach, baby spinach. I added rice cauliflower, both of which you cannot taste, okay? I add in hemp hearts and flaxseed. Those both can have some good fiber and omegas and protein. And then I add in that little jar there, that's our greens, which is equivalent to a cup of broccoli, kale, and spinach. And so really I consider my smoothies now a green smoothie. So I still will do a half a banana, but try limiting and making sure that you don't add too much fruit. And then make sure that you add in more of those greens. You can even add in zucchini, and you can't even taste the zucchini. And then also, if you want that extra fat too, you can add in an almond butter for some additional fat as well.
Avocados are great too, Katie. They help make them smooth.
Yes.
People want that fat. So so step 3 is to get healthier. So now, no matter what your goal is, we have so many different options for Shaklee. And this one is the one that we're highlighting here is the Vitalizing Plan. And I think it's probably our most popular plan because it is a complete nutrition system for your optimal health. You've got your Life Shake that, like Katie was just talking about, what she does to her shake in the morning. And then you have the Vitalizer, which is your multivitamin, all the minerals. And I think we're going to break that down in a second. The Vitalizer, there it is. So this is the Vitalizer, is just your multivitamin that can help fill in the nutrient gaps. And you can see lightly behind you of just all the different things that it contains, because I think one of the things that makes me so upset about our food today is no matter how clean you are eating and no matter how healthy of choices you are making, it's not enough. And that's like a shame, but our food is just not as nutritious as it once was. The food that you ate as a kid, the food that your parents ate as a kid, you're missing a lot of those vitamins and nutrients. So a multivitamin, one that that's going to be absorbed in your body completely based on whole foods, is something that you're going to need to help fill the nutrient gaps. And I think this was one of the big game changers in my life. Because I was eating healthy, I was doing the activity, but I still wasn't giving my body enough of what it needed to get it on that right path.
Yeah, and I had a friend recently share that she added in B-complex. B-complex helps with energy and mood and cravings, and it helped her to lose weight, and that was the only change that she made. And so sometimes we're low in key nutrients, especially if we're not having lots of vegetables and fruit that are organic, and also if you've had babies in the last few years, there's something called postnatal depletion, where a lot of moms are left depleted of key nutrients. So these are just really important things that I do on a consistent basis that I started being more consistent with when I started to see the weight loss. So first was Metabolic Boost. I started adding that in 3 times a day. That will help it helps with cravings, and it helps to boost your metabolism. Then stress relief. So everybody is stressed from time to time, right? And what stress relief does is it blunts the cortisol response in your body. And remember that cortisol is what signals to your body to hold on to fat. So stress relief, if I start to feel myself feel stressed or overwhelmed, I will take a stress relief so that my body stays calm and relaxed.
Katie, I'll stay with that one for stress relief. I actually had messaged my friend earlier because it's one of those that I forget. And like at work, there are always treats at work. There's always candy and cookies and coffee cakes and everything. And I noticed that like when I walk out of a meeting and I might be a little like frustrated or I have like a big project to work on and I'm sitting on my desk, like if I take the stress relief, I ignore all of those treats. I don't want to touch any of them. But when I'm not, then it's like free for all and I want to eat everything because it really helps me with my sugar cravings.
Yeah, and our energizing tea that Sarah talked about, I have that every day, and energizing tea will actually help to ramp up and boost your metabolism. So as you're drinking that matcha tea or the pomegranate tea, it's actually helping with your metabolism, which is really important. And then B complex, I talked about that earlier. This name known as the happy vitamin, and really important. We're depleted often from our B vitamins, and it plays a big role in converting our food into energy. So I take them in the morning, and then I take it in that afternoon time when you sometimes can get that afternoon slump or the cravings start to really go up.
So Katie, really quickly, we do have a question. Does the stress relief complex supplement have any side effects like causing you to be sleepy?
No, actually it is non-drowsy, and it is just known to help calm and relax you, but it is non-drowsy and it doesn't have, I don't feel like when I take it, I
feel like I focus better.
Yeah.
I feel like it definitely like increases my focus and I do not feel any side effects. And I also do not feel like, I don't feel anything like a crash when it's like wearing down. I feel like it's a really good, I love that stress relief. So here we have Healthy Foundations, just talking about like your multivitamins and adding your shake. And there's so many different programs with Shaklee that can just be tailored to you for whatever like your needs are. So here it is, nutritional needs at every different stages, from kids vitamins to a vitamin for you to vitamins for your parents. Our bodies are always needing this, needing different things that we need. Here's the landmark study. So really quickly on this, because we could talk about this forever. You know, the landmark study was done in collaboration with the University of California at Berkeley, and it was one of the first of its kind studies of long-term use of people using multiple supplements. And you can see where it showed the Shaklee users. These showed that Shaklee supplements had healthier biomarkers, lower cholesterol, lower level of triglycerides, all of these things that were just so much better, showing how Shaklee was making people healthier.
Okay, so as Sarah, we talked about before, but, I have spent a lot of time listening to a lot of dietitians and nutritionists, and one thing that they say is how you start your day plays a big role in how it sets the tone for your day. So for me, I was having a bagel, or I was having cereal, or I was having peanut butter toast, and very heavy on carbs and not enough protein. And what I found was by replacing it with a green smoothie, my energy went up, my cravings decreased, because now I could have this delicious chocolate shake and I wasn't craving stuff. And so that is really important, how we start our day, because it plays a really big role in our energy, our weight, and our digestion. It also comes in plain and simple, and plain and simple has no sugar or sweeteners. So again, looking at your sugar, we consume way too much sugar in our diet. And so that's a great option. The greens booster is something that I add to get in an increase in our greens. This is just to show again that our telomeres are the end caps of our chromosomes. And this is a really neat study that showed that Shaklee users had longer telomeres. So what this is showing is Shaklee users' longevity was greater. And so by taking the vitalizer, by using the shakes, by adding in the metabolic boost or the stress relief or the tea, all of these products are safe, proven to work, and will help aid in those gaps that we have in our diet and help boost your metabolism and help overall with energy so that maybe you have the energy to go to the gym. I'll be honest, one little secret I have, because exercise truthfully for me was very hard, is the motivation piece. I don't know. I just was never one of those people who were like, let's go work out. But what I found was I thought about how I would feel after. And after a workout, I have energy, my mood increases, I feel better. And so I focus on that. And then I always use some of our pre-workout stuff to help with that motivation too, because that increases my energy. It helps with your metabolism as well. And really, sets the tone again for the day. I'll share this too, getting the most out of your exercise. So for me, one simple thing that I think played a huge role in my weight loss is I started adding in a post-workout shake. And this was new. This came out last year. And so it was right around when I started really seeing a difference. I started doing more strength training. A lot of women are afraid to do strength training, but strength training is so important because it's going to actually boost your metabolism. And obviously you burn more calories when you have more muscle and less fat. And so if you're working out, I encourage you to not be afraid to lift and to not be afraid to add in more strength. And so what the build does in that picture is it has BCAAs, which actually help to repair and build muscle. And so I cannot believe how much muscle I have built over the last year, not only with the strength, but then adding in this extra post-workout that if you want to talk about, Sarah, what that is.
Yeah, and you talked about with lifting weights. So I think most people always want to go to cardio when they're losing weight, but actually, like Katie was talking about, when you are doing strength training and the weight lifting, that is actually helping your body burn more longer. So you're going to be burning, just your body is burning and doing it more longer. So here's one of the performance fitness packs that Katie was talking about, using one of the Energize, one of our energy products. And this Energize is great because you do want to make sure that you are energized to do your workouts so that when you are lifting weights, you're using the correct form and you're not, when you get sloppy, that's when you get hurt and injured, and you want to make sure that you're focused enough to do this. So this performance line also has less sugar, less calories than some of the things you're seeing on the market. So you're not consuming a lot of calories and all that sugar before you go work out. You don't have that post crash then as well. And one thing that I've learned, Katie already talked about everything with the lean muscle mass, is helping your body recover. And we recently had a call with Eli Bremner, who is former Olympic athlete that leads up our Olympic Pure Performance team, and listening to him talk about recovery, because I think sometimes people are like, oh, I'm so sore, like I can't walk. And that's not a good thing. That's not something you shouldn't, when you finish a workout, be so sore that you can't function the next day. And from the long distance training that I've done for marathons, I did have that, where I could barely get out of bed the next day. And when I started using our products, I wasn't having that anymore. And I was wondering what was wrong with me, because I was using these products to recover, to heal my muscles and make them better so that I could move on to doing it again, or going to the next step, or just living out my life and not being sore.
Yeah, in fact, I had somebody today at the gym. He looked at me and he goes, "You're here just as much as me. How are you not sore?" And I turned to him and I said, well, it's because I take products to help recover and to help, because every time you work out and you use, especially lifting, your body's being torn down. That's what the Olympian taught me. I mean, it makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. And so you need to replenish that. And so 30 minutes after your workout, you need protein. And that build has only 1 gram of sugar that comes from whey. And the reason that it's whey is because our body, it's grass-fed whey, but our body best repairs and rebuilds with a whey protein. It only has 5 ingredients. So it is the purest, best post-workout shake that you will ever use. And I will tell you, the taste of it is really, really good. I crave it. It's like what I look forward to when I have a really tough workout and I really need that extra repairing and rebuilding. But that's really going to help enhance your workouts, which is really important. Okay, so just very briefly, and then we'll open this up to any questions here in just a minute. But I just wanted to mention that we shared a lot of information tonight. And whoever invited you can share with you this movement that we get to be a part of helping more people with their health. Tonight we talked a lot about weight, but there's so much when it comes to our health. Our skin health, the environment we create, our digestion, immunity, and we get to be a part of improving people's lives every single day. And we encourage you to think about what it might mean for you to be a part of our team and to perhaps consider what it might look like to join Sarah and I and many other people as wellness advocates and really teaching and educating people on healthier choices every day. So if you are interested in getting started, we have some really great promotions right now. There's free shipping on orders over $150, which is awesome. And then the person that invited you can connect with you to share more about how you can get a discount on your products. And I think that is it. I would love to now open it up for any questions. Uh-oh, did I lose you guys?
No, we're here. So you guys can unmute your phone if you have any questions, or feel free to put a question into the chat. Either way works.
So one way to get started is I encourage you, whoever invited you, to take the health print. The health print is a personalized health assessment, and you can put in what your top health goals are, and it helps customize a plan for you. But I encourage you to think about how you can start with a detox and then working on your own 180 and then filling in some of those gaps in your diet that can really play a big role. And then lastly, I think thinking about your workouts is important and how to best maximize those workouts. So no questions? Anything? Otherwise, we can let you guys go. Appreciate you guys being on. Lots of material, but I hope this helps with just thinking through how to, your sleep, your stress. How do you deal with a spouse who's constantly?
Well, so I can talk about this too, like with such a fast metabolism, so that they can constantly eat unhealthy. Like, sure you can because you're not gaining weight, but you're really like depriving your body of a lot of nutrients too. So you want to just make sure that you can, and we all enjoy that, the unhealthy food and the treats and the sweets, and like that's okay. But maybe it's like just trying to find the balance of choosing a lot of healthy food, because you're like Katie showed in that first one too, like not even with weight loss, but just if you're not eating healthy, it can deal with so many other things like heart disease and migraines and a lot of different things. And if your husband's not, or spouse is not dealing with anything like that, that's great. But like we all want to kind of go to that healthier lifestyle. Like we see so many benefits from that. So I think sometimes maybe just trying to help make a lot of balance, and then trying to make the unhealthy food healthy, I guess is like a hard one to do.
Yeah, and I think it's allowing yourself, like, I make some, like an example is like I make my own like peanut butter cups, okay? And I use our chocolate protein, a little bit of peanut butter, coconut oil, and I think stevia. And I make those from scratch. Those are like my treat. And so I still have healthier treats available. We make these peanut butter energy bites that are really satisfying, the snack bars, those kinds of things. So I think it's just finding those alternatives, going on Pinterest, searching for whole food recipes or against all grain recipes can really help. But the other thing too is I know a lot of people who are thin, and thin doesn't necessarily mean healthy. And so, or I should say, thin doesn't mean that they feel healthy. Because I know some people who are thin that they don't feel well because they're eating whatever they want to eat. And so maybe helping him too to understand the importance of how our food affects our health. I hope that helps a little bit. But they actually say your environment plays a role. And that's why I don't like to buy certain things, because I know I just will eat them. And so when you clean out your pantry, trying to make it a family affair, which I know can be hard sometimes, especially men. Is there any other questions? All right. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for hopping on, and feel free to reach out to whoever invited you to connect more on how to help you guys have some healthy lifestyle habits. All right, thanks guys, bye.